Hey guys, this is Mattias, and in this video I'd like to show you two submachine guns that you will have access to in the early part of the game, or you will at least have access to one of them depending on what faction you choose. Now the first weapon that I will show you here is the OTs-02 Kiparis. It is the one that you will have access to if you choose the Scavengers faction. And I want to show you this one first because it's the one that I have used the least of the two. The other one is the Uzi, which you will have access to if you choose Black Market. And Black Market is the one that I decided to go with. Not for any particular reason, it just happened to be that one. But when it comes to these two weapons, I honestly think that the Kiparis is the one I would prefer. And mainly it's just a visual issue with the Uzi that makes me prefer the Kiparis. I really hope I'm not slaughtering these two names, by the way. Anyway, this is what the statistic looks like if you compare the two. As you can see, the Uzi has a little bit more damage per bullet, 40 compared to 35. And the rate of fire is, of course, the Kiparis strong suit with 800 versus 600 of the Uzi. And the Kiparis is also a lot lighter than the Uzi. It weighs only 1.5 kilos, while the Uzi weighs 3.5 kilos. And weight is a big thing in Survarium. You do get tired and you do lose stamina, unlike a lot of other games. Now, I started using the Kiparis out of the two, and I really felt that this was a standard submachine gun that was just really good for what it's meant to be good for. Then again, 2 days into the game, you don't really have that much to compare with, but I just generally like the weapon. Another thing about the weapon that I really like is the design of the iron sight. It is clear and it doesn't block your view, unlike with the Uzi, but I'll get to that later. Now you have access to either of these weapons once you reach level 2 for that specific faction. So if you want to try them out both, you just have to play a little bit on each faction, and then you can decide for yourself which one you prefer. The other thing I want to mention is that the Kiparis is a little bit more expensive than the Uzi. The Kiparis will cost you 4,200, while the Uzi costs you 3,800. Now, if I had to choose, I would choose the Kiparis. And again, it's the fact that it is good for what it's meant to be good at. Now, the difference isn't all that big, I have to say, but it's just that if you choose a submachine gun, then you do that for close range combat. And yes, the Uzi seems to be a little bit better at mid-range, but then again, if that's what you're looking for, then you'd probably choose another weapon. I just generally think that the Kiparis is better for what a submachine gun is supposed to be good at, and then the weight makes a big difference, but the even bigger difference, in my opinion, is the iron sight again. Now, I actually bought both of these weapons without realizing that I got them both for free. And when you get them for free, they are in terrible condition, so you have to spend some time repairing them. It also costs you a little bit. Once that was done, I actually sold the one that I had extra. There was no reason to have two of the same weapon, at least not that I can see. Now, whether or not these weapons are actually really good, or if it's just my initial reactions, maybe it's just that they are good for as long as you're playing against low-level opponents, well, I don't really know that yet. But for as long as you are a low-level character, you are going to play against low-level characters. So yeah, that's how the matchmaking system works, and that's why hopefully this video will help you choose whether or not you want to pick any of these weapons, which one, or if you want to stick with the PPSH-41 and save your money for something better in the future. So yeah, for the rest of the video I will now focus on the Uzi, and as you can see, I'm starting off here with some longer mid-range engagements, and like I said earlier, this is where I think the Uzi is a little bit better than the Kiparis, even though it might just be my imagination. But with the slower fire rate and the higher damage per bullet, normally that type of weapons are better at range. However, the ring around the actual tick of the iron sight bothers me a lot. It really amazes me how in so many games such a small detail can ruin a good weapon, or, well, I guess ruining it is a little bit strong, but it would really make sense if they could either remove that ring or make it a lot, just cover a lot less area. However, there is weapon customization in the game, so maybe it's possible to just add a one-time reflex sight on this weapon, or maybe we can actually customize the iron sight itself. That would be awesome. I haven't seen that in that many games, but it would be really cool to be able to customize the iron sight. Now, the recoil animation of the Uzi is a lot stronger than the Kiparis. I'm not sure how much that has an actual in-game effect, if the recoil animation actually reflects the actual recoil of the weapon, but I do tend to burst fire a little bit more with the Uzi, even though it works really well to spray and pray with at close range, just as you would expect from a submachine gun. It's just that the feel of this weapon isn't really like a submachine gun. It actually does feel more like a, almost like an assault rifle. And I know that might actually sound like it has a bit of a negative ring to it, but I actually really like the weapon feel of this game so far. At least with the few weapons that I've tried out the first couple of days. And holy shit, the game sound in Survarium. I mean, when you take damage... When you hear your bones break like that, it hurts. Like, it hurts to play the game. You're like, oh my god! And when I first started playing it, I thought it was just me, but I've seen similar reactions from other players. I've read it in the forum and from people I talked to. The sound of this game is just awesome. So anyway, out of the two submachine guns that you get as level 2 for either the Scavengers or Black Market, I would say I prefer the Kiparis of the Scavenger faction a tiny bit more than the Uzi. Well, that's just me, and that's just my initial reaction. Maybe I will change my mind after using them a little bit longer. Maybe they need some customization. And I can totally understand if some of you players prefer the PPSH-41 over any of these two. With its 1000 rounds per minute, it's a pretty damn good gun as well. But for some reason, I just feel like both of these weapons is somewhat an upgrade rather than a side grade. But again, that's just me. Anyway, I will let this video continue. I'm done with the post-commenting, so I will say thank you all for watching. And the rest of it is going to be only the Uzi. So yeah, that's all. Bye for now.